Tonight on WTOP 10 News, Andrew Cuomo begins his return to politics.
Harsh fighting continues in Ukraine. Russian forces are within 20 miles of the capital.
And Governor Kathy Hochul makes a major announcement for masks in schools.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Thomas Caffarella.
And I'm Grace Parenti.
Children in New York State will be able to remove their masks at school. Governor Kathy Hochul made the announcement during an address Sunday, months after the fierce debate of if masks should return to the classroom.
New York is one of the many states to remove school mask mandates, recently including Illinois, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Hochul says the decision was made using data and a drop in hospitalizations across the state.
Given the decline in our rates, our hospitalization, strong vaccination rates, and the CDC guidance, my friends, the day has come. Today we are going to be announcing that we'll be lifting the statewide mask requirement in schools, and that'll be effective this Wednesday, March 2nd.
After Governor Hochul's announcement, many college students are wondering how much longer they'll have to wait to wear masks on campus. SUNY Oswego announced last Friday that masks would stay on for the time being, and they would be closely monitoring the COVID case numbers and vaccination rates on campus in the coming weeks. SUNY has not made a statement about masks since the governor's announcement. The United States is hitting Russia hard with trade sanctions, and New York is doubling down. Kathy Hochul announced that she forbids New York State for doing any business with Russian companies, and the state is also canceling all foreign investments as well. This is an act of protest against Russia after its invasion of Ukraine. Hochul also shared her pride for hosting the largest number of Ukrainian refugees across the nation.
Enough is enough. Those words coming from the UN Secretary General when it comes to Russia's attack on Ukraine. Emily Smith reports on the talks and actions as Ukraine continues to fight for its freedom.
It took this Ukrainian disaster to spark a world diplomacy not seen for 40 years.
The fighting in Ukraine must stop.
The UN General Assembly held an emergency meeting for the first time since 1982, condemning Russia's attacks and supporting Ukraine's sovereignty, calling for peace.
For the first time since the United Nations was born, there is a full-fledged war in the center of Europe.
War images emerged from all over the country. Attacks that appeared to be on a section of Kharkiv. Outside Kyiv, signs of losses for Russia. Ukrainians fighting, inspired by their president's rallying call.
He is our president, he is our leader, he is leader of the armed forces of Ukraine.
More fallout. Moscow's stock exchange closed Monday when economic sanctions caused the ruble to lose nearly a third of its value. Russia closed its airspace to airlines from 36 countries, and Ukraine and Russia held talks in Belarus amid fears troops from Belarus could support Russia. So much remarkable movement, including this. The UN now estimates more than 500,000 people have fled Ukraine, seeking safety, with their homeland very much still in danger. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
On Sunday, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced he was putting nuclear weapons on high alert. A senior U.S. defense official tells reporters the U.S. hasn't seen anything specific since that announcement.
The United Nations General Assembly began meeting today for an emergency special session to discuss the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This is the 11th session in UN history. At the special session, leaders condemned Russia's military attacks on Ukraine. Switzerland, who traditionally stays neutral, says it will impose the same sanctions as the European Union and block travel to the 5 oligarchs close to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Many citizens around the world are taking a stand with Ukraine. As protests took place today in Germany, countries are taking a stand against Russia and their invasion of Ukraine. Russia launched their invasion last Thursday, and anti-war protests are popping up across the globe. Many of the protesters are demanding Russia to be removed from the UN, while dozens of flags and signs showing their support for Ukraine are held high. Local organizations made their voices heard on Tip Hill in Syracuse. People with Ukrainian relatives or descent gathered around the St. John's Baptist Ukrainian Catholic Church and hung flags to show their support for Ukraine.
Talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations at the UN ended Monday. Parties from both sides returning to their respective countries for consultations. This is as the Kremlin has boosted in the war efforts, with President Vladimir Putin ordering deterrent forces, including nuclear weapons, to be on high alert. Meanwhile, people all around the world are showing concern for Ukraine, including the Ukrainian church in Wisconsin. Bruce Harrison reports.
At St. Michael's Ukrainian Catholic Church, parishioners sing almost all of the worship. For Vasyl Ovod, it's a form of therapy.
When we sing and we want to cry, we feel like we want to, yes, it's like yelling. Sometimes you want to say why it happened.
Why the war? Some of Ovod's family has fled to Poland for safety, but his brother and elderly father stayed behind to help the resistance. His in-laws remain as well, now hiding in a cold basement from rocket attacks.
I cannot sleep, I cannot eat, I cannot work. It's a difficult time, but we try, praying, going, try to do something.
For many people without a connection to Ukraine, the war may seem sudden or unexpected, but this flag has reminded the congregation for years of the threat of greater violence. Ukrainian soldiers signed and sent this flag to St. Michael's in 2014. It's a large thank you note for the church's donation of supplies to soldiers after Russia invaded Crimea. 8 years later, and the church is still collecting to send aid to family and soldiers back home.
We came here, we love this place, and our love was just growing, and now we can live without this church.
And for Ovod and many here, the spiritual support is just as important as the material.
Praying, it's helped us. We feel this, even our soldiers from Ukraine, they said, we feel something magical, because when you pray, you give like something power for them.
The United Nations says more than 500,000 refugees have escaped from Ukraine thus far.
Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo released a new ad targeting his opponents. In the new ad, Cuomo targets New York Attorney General Letitia James, along with a report on sexual assault allegations against Cuomo. The reports led to Cuomo's resignation back in August. The AG's office responds to the ad, saying Cuomo has proven himself to be a threat to women in the workplace. Cuomo has not yet made an announcement on a possible comeback campaign.
And coming up later tonight, Biden will host the State of the Union tomorrow, the first of his presidency.
And we'll tell you about 3 bear cubs that were rescued in Wisconsin.
But first, let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Nicholas Casano.
Thanks, Thomas. We're going to be having a lot of snow and rain in the next couple of days. Winds are going to be strong, with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And tomorrow will be the first day of meteorological spring, which will be lasting until the end of May. All that and more after the break.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit.
I get it. I can do better. Just please don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Good evening. I'm Storm 10 meteorologist Nicholas Casano. Right now, you're going to be expecting some. Let's look at the radar, guys. So we're looking at no overcast, maybe a little bit up in near Watertown, etc. Everything's still looking nice so far. All cloudy skies. Tonight, we have some snow showers that are going to be moving in the AMs. Southeast, 10 to 15 miles per hour winds. And the low will be 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow, expect some mixed precipitation of rain and snow, with the high being 39 degrees and winds being 15 to 20 miles per hour in the south direction. Tomorrow's bus stop for the kids. So, for all you kiddos, when you go off to school, 25 degrees outside. It's gonna be nice and cloudy. You know, you can wear your jacket, but make sure you're being a little bit covered up because when you come back from school, it's going to be raining, but hey, it's 39 degrees, almost at that 40 mark, and it's going to be nice and warm, so you better enjoy that once the rain heads off. Wednesday, we are going to be having something fun over here in SUNY Oswego. Our hockey team will be fighting against Cortland at the SUNYAX, and when it starts at 7 p.m., it's going to be 28 degrees outside, and it's going to be light snow that's beginning to move in. It's this whole system that's coming off of Lake Ontario. And by the end, which is usually around 9 to 10, it's going to be, again, 28 degrees. The snow is going to continue. It's going to be ramping up a little bit more. But overall, it's going to be nice and cold and match the perfect climate of the hockey arena. Now for our 7-day forecast. You can see on Tuesday, it's going to snow. The high is 39 degrees, lows are 25. Wednesday, continuing to snow, 34 degrees, highs, 16 lows. Thursday, it gets colder, 22 degrees highs and 11-degree lows. And as we keep on going throughout the week, Friday, we finally have a break in the snow with 28 highs, 17 lows. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all snow. But hey, at least you get this high 40s. All that and more. Once you get back from the break, make sure you tune into sports.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Major Discussions is the new show that explores the stories of students right here on campus. I personally came here to SUNY Oswego for the broadcasting program because I love to hear people's stories and to do work just like this.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. One of the nation's largest retailers is giving its employees a raise. Target plans to increase wages for workers in their stores, supply chain facilities, and headquarters, up to $24 an hour plus benefits like health insurance. The retail chain has over 350,000 employees and over 1,900 stores in the U.S. They're just one of the many large companies to increase their pay. Amazon and Best Buy have recently increased their pay as well.
Biden to deliver first State of the Union address. Inflation may be one of the topics discussed during President Biden's State of the Union address tomorrow. This is his first since he took office in 2021, and he is expected to also discuss proposal bills and the conflict in Ukraine. You can watch the address tomorrow at 9 p.m. on your local news station.
While Biden's State of the Union address may attempt to ease the worries that many are feeling right now, uneasy markets around the world are causing many to feel the economic impact at home. Amy K. Lee reports on how the war could be affecting your life.
In Ukraine, the impact of the war is painfully clear. In the U.S., the effects are more subtle. Oil is already up over $100 a barrel, and experts expect the conflict will keep prices high.
Ordinary Americans will be paying a little bit higher at the pump, but frankly, I think that is a sacrifice that we need to pay, because we'll pay far more later if we don't successfully stand up to Putin on this.
As the stock market opens Monday, investors are bracing after a roller coaster last week. Meanwhile, boycotts of Russian-branded alcohol are underway at some stores and bars.
Kind of like how you bounce somebody from a bar that, just isn't getting along with everybody else. So we just decided to dump the Russian vodka for now, and because they weren't playing well with others at the bar.
Other organizations are finding their own ways to distance themselves from Russian President Vladimir Putin and his country.
He and his government are being treated like the pariahs that they are.
But the Ukraine war is affecting more than just U.S. finances and affiliations. It's igniting anger among protesters here and rekindling Cold War-era fear.
Top officials in leading NATO countries have allowed themselves to make aggressive comments about our country. Therefore, I hereby order the Minister of Defense and the Chief of the General Staff to place the Russian Army Deterrence Force on combat alert.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In addition to boycotting the sale of Russian products such as vodka, many state liquor boards are taking action to stop the sales of Russian-made alcohol in their states.
Former President Donald Trump still has a strong holding on the Republican Party. Attendees at the Conservative Political Action Conference have selected him as the favorite for 2022 Republican nomination. In a straw man poll, the former president polled at 69%. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis trails behind him at 28%. These polls are done anonymously through the CPAC and app. Official polling for the next Republican nominee will take place closer to the election season. In D.C. now, climate activists gather outside the Supreme Court today as the court hears a case that could limit the power of the Environmental Protection Agency. Members of the court's conservative majority question that the EPA's ability to regulate carbon emissions from the power plants. The conservative justice argued that the legalization of the Clean Air Act, which allows the EPA to regulate air pollution. The court's decision could hinder the Biden administration's efforts to address climate change.
3 bear cubs were rescued last week in Wisconsin. Now, they're being nursed back to health by Wildlife Rehab Center. Jade Fleury has more.
Researchers were using a radio collar to track the female bear for a project.
This particular female had been part of the study for a number of years, and there was some sort of complication, and unfortunately she passed away.
The late mama bear left behind 3 bear cubs. Without the help of wild instincts, the bear cubs would most likely die.
Of course, they would perish because they're not able to fend for themselves at this point. They can barely even walk.
For now, the cubs are being bottle fed by staff.
Right now, they're a little bit older, fortunately, so their eyes have just opened, so we're there every 4-hour feedings, and we don't have to do anything around the clock.
Right now, the bears weigh about 4 pounds and are living in an incubator. Nannyette says they try to minimize human contact with the cubs as much as possible.
So the biggest thing is they can imprint if you're not careful, and because You know, we're the caregivers, we're giving them a bottle, they see us as the caregivers.
In about 2 weeks, the cubs will learn how to eat other foods.
So what we do is we have a couple different isolated rooms. We teach them how to eat out of a dish as soon as they're a little bit more coordinated.
After that, Naniette says it's pretty much giving the cubs food and leaving them alone. As the cubs grow, so will their enclosure.
And then we have a couple outdoor enclosures that are very large, so we move them from smaller to bigger as we go.
The bear cubs are expected to be about 80 to 125 pounds before they're released.
They adjusted to the wild very well, and the thing is, when we do release them, they've already had all their fat reserves. For the most part, they almost stop eating completely because they've already fattened up enough, and all they want to do is go to winter sleep.
The bears are expected to be released into the wild after bear hunting season ends in October, and I gotta say, so adorable. So adorable.
So cute. Love the bears.
Coming up on your WTOP 10 Sports Report, Jake Johnson has all the details of what happened this weekend.
Jake, can you give us a quick preview?
What's up, y'all? Jake Johnson here. Coming up in sports, Oz playoff week is in full swing. All that and more. 2 games down and 2 to go right here on WTOP 10 Sports. Don't go anywhere.
We've been marinating chicken in all sorts of liquids for 24 hours. These are vitamins and minerals and things that you need, nutrients. The chicken speedy is a staple of our culture.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
For the governor race with a strong lead, former Governor Andrew Cuomo is...
Barlow announced the completion of a large building mural in downtown Oswego.
The renovations on the Hewitt Union Building, turning it into the new Hewitt Hall.
And as we move into tomorrow, that rain is going to be in our area.
Moving to the Diamond now, as Sweet Caroline got a lot sweeter last night.
Good evening and welcome back to WTOP 10 Sports. I'm Jake Johnson. It's time to go dancing, ladies and gentlemen. The Oswego State Lakers men's basketball team were victorious in both games over the weekend to take the crown of SUNYAC champion. On Friday night, they defeated SUNY New Paltz 94-60. Then on Saturday, the Lakers would continue to dominate and defeated SUNY Oneonta 81-60. Jeremiah Sparks was named All-Tournament MVP. Jamil Kelly, Devin Green, and Julian Crittenden were named to the All-Tournament team. With that SUNYAC championship, the Lakers are on to the NCAA tournament, where earlier today we found out the Lakers will head to Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, and take on Hood College in the first round. That game will be at 3:05 Friday afternoon. Men's hockey has found a worthy opponent for the semifinals of the SUNYAC tournament. The Lakers will take on the SUNY Cortland Red Dragons in a rematch of the Teal game. The Lakers have swept the season series between Cortland 2-1 and 5-3. In the first game, Troy Robillard had the game winner with under 10 minutes to play. Across 481 in Cortland, it was the Travis Broman show as he finished with a hat trick. The SUNYAC semifinal is set to take place right here at the Deb at 7 p.m. The other SUNYAC semifinal will be Geneseo versus Brockport in the IRA on Wednesday. Hockey night in Oswego starts at 6:30. That coverage right here live on WTOP 10. Unlike the MLB, college baseball is back underway. For the Lakers, it means heading down south to take on #1 team in Division III, the Salisbury Seagulls. In a 3-game set, the Lakers went 1-2. In the first game, Oswego fell 15-2, but bounced back 3-2 the next day behind 6 great pitched innings from Anthony Van Fossen. Van Fossen allowed 1 earned run and had 5 strikeouts. In the rubber match, it came down to the bottom of the 9th where Salisbury walked it off to win 6-5. The Lakers start the season off 1-2 and will take another long road trip to Virginia this weekend to take on Keystone College, who received votes in the preseason top 25, and Shenandoah, who is ranked number 22 in Division III. Okay, so same building, different teams. How can that be? Well, let me tell you, Knicks, Sixers in MSG, James Harden and Joel Embiid, come on. They're already working well together in this one. The lob up to Embiid, that's easy money for this team. A little bit later on, a shot, that one misses, but Danny Green, he's able to save that one from going out. A little pass now, James Harden again from beyond the arc. James Harden is looking very nice in the blue and red in Philadelphia. This game tied at 98. Now 106-103, going up, taking a shot. That one's going to be missed. Julius Randle grabs the board, looking for a kick out. He finds a partner now, pushing it down low. Obi Toppin goes up and under, and he gets the basket. 106-105, 7 to play here. The Sixers down by 1. Now Harden is going to come up. He's going to pass it. Joel Embiid, whoa! What did that rim do to you, Embiid? He puts it down for the easy flush. That's going to be a 5-point game. And now the Sixers, they're going to take this one no problem. Nets win 125-109. James Harden, triple-double for him in only his second game with the Philadelphia 76ers. And the 76ers look to have saved their season up a little bit in this one, guys.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. That is our report for tonight. Please be sure to stay tuned for the Son of Sus Show.
Thank you for watching and have a great night, everyone.
Diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother.
Yes.
You, your football buddy, your football buddy. You, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Here at WTOP, we pride ourselves on delivering you all the news you need to know from the day's events.
Whether it's happened on Capitol Hill or right here in Oswego,
we make sure you know all about it. We keep you up to date on all your favorite
Oswego and professional sports.
And our Storm Team 10 meteorologist will make sure that you know exactly what weather you're up against when you start your day.
Every Monday through Thursday night, make sure to tune in to Channel 10.2, because at WTOP, we don't just tell you the news.
We are
the news.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion. Learn more at legion.org/webelieve.